It doesn't matter what your name. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is a different podcast. Zach, hello.
Hello. What was that podcast?
Sorry, that was my WWE commentary podcast that I've been working on.
Oh, is that the one with John Cena?
Yeah, it's called the Iron Chair.
Oh, nice, nice.
Ba- ba-
And
ba-
ba-ba-da-ba.
ba- ba- Zach, we're doing a theory video.
John Cena would be a good podcast host because he could just say to the audience, "You can't see me," and they're like, "You're right. You understand how the medium works."
All that promotional art of the Iron Throne. Look at John Cena sitting in this chair.
John Cena sitting on the Iron Throne is how House of the Dragon ends. By the way, spoilers, everybody.
Oh, Zach, we're not supposed to spoil. We got to redo the video now.
We got to redo the video so people don't know that in the final episode of season, because it just got renewed for a second season, House of the Dragon.
Yeah.
They don't know that they're already in works to get John Cena to reprise his role from the books as John Cena. So they can win the Dance of Dragons.
Like that meme of the guy in the corner of the party. They don't know that I'm John Cena and I'm also the king of Westeros.
Yes, we do. It's all you ever talk about.
Hello, it is I, John Cena Targaryen. This is a good bit. I like this bit. Zach, we're going to do a theory video. This is a normal theory video.
It's a regular theory video here.
This game, as we know, is called Give Me Another Card. Zach, explain to the fine people at home how this works.
So, Tom has a theory about A Song of Ice and Fire that he has crafted meticulously with evidence he has found in the books, in shows that may or may not air on HBO, and like all over the place. Maybe even like the Bible sometimes, or like history.
Yeah, sometimes it gets weird.
Sometimes it gets weird. Sometimes it's George R. R. Martin's blog that we're quoting. Like, whatever we think like works as evidence in a theory, we put it in there. And if the other person who's guessing, in this case me, brushes up close enough to a piece of evidence, they get a ding, and that evidence appears on screen. You can sometimes be like, ooh, it'd be really cool if there were some red arrows on there, and then the red arrows get drawn. And the point is to get the main thrust of the theory, and then discuss it. And I think we're equally as likely to get what the theory is going, or like have all the evidence in front of us and be completely clueless. I think that's about 50-50 odds. But I'm going to try and solve the theory today. So, we have an Amogus, a very sassy Amogus on the screen. And we also have our first clue.
Yeah!
In A Dance with Dragons, Bran Stark eats a bowl of red paste. All right, Tom.
That's true. That's the case.
Let's talk about Jojen paste.
That's a ding. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's a ding for sure. Oh, yeah. Jojen Reed has not been seen since.
Hold on, Tom. I'm gonna go get a spoon for my rice pudding, and then I'm gonna talk about Jojen paste.
Is that a euphemism?
It would be thematically appropriate if I ate something similar in consistency while talking about.
You know what, Zach? If there's one thing that the internet loves, it's eating on air. I need you to lean truly as close to the microphone as you can possibly get. I want to hear every tooth clicking together. Don't forget to subscribe, by the way, for all of this top quality dragon content.
When you or I eat on camera, it's a schmuckbang.
Schmuckbang? I feel like that's one of those websites that's banned on my work computers.
You can go to www.schmuckbang.org and
hold on. If nobody has it, we're buying it.
That could be our official website for the Interesting Nerd Club is www.schmuckbang.org.
www. There does not appear to be a schmuckbang.org, Zach.
I like how an organization.
Zach, talk to me about Jojen paste, please. Also, will someone please go... You know what? No, this is a job for the internet, Zach. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Well, one of the truly insane people who watches this truly insane stuff we do. Will one of you guys please go get schmuckbang.org and put something funny there?
Yeah, I think that's a very likely to happen.
You guys got this. I trust you.
Jojen paste.
Yeah.
Is a theory in the same way that gravity is. And that it isn't. And it totally happened. I don't know when gravity stopped happening. I guess like gravity existed. It still does, but it used to too.
So how dare you suggest that gravity is real?
I know it's a real controversial stance.
There's certain things that are non-negotiable, Zach, and that's one of them.
That's true.
Gravity is made up by the elite.
Speculated exists. According to the so-called theory of gravity. So, in A Dance with Dragons, Bran goes and he meets Brendan Rivers, and he's like, "Hey, you're the three-eyed crow," and he's like, "Yeah, I'm a crow." And, like, you know, a Night's Watch kind of crow. And then Bran's like, I'm not going to investigate this sentence further.
That sentence, the most interesting sentence you've said so far, including the fact that you're 170 years old. We're just not going to deal with any of that.
Yep. Bran is given a paste of which he's not sure the consistency, is very much like blood-like. And the entire time he's there, Jojen is just gone. And Jojen Reed was like, you know, a fellow Greenseer. He was somebody who also had dreams that led him to that cave. Those dreams actually led him to meet Bran in the first place.
Ding. Jojen Reed is a Greenseer.
Yeah. I do want to note, because it lines up very well with my childhood trauma theory that we've talked about but never quite made an actual theory video about. Jojen Reed had like a severe fever when he was quite young and recovered, but when he had the fever is when he had his first green dreams. Which I think is neat and adds some credence to like the young people having trauma is the like way you gain supernatural powers.
This is not something I had, but it kind of fits, so I'm going to add it anyway.
Nice.
Jojen Reed had his first green dreams when under the influence of gray water fever. Did I get that correct?
Under the influence? I don't know, like that. I think it seems like you chugged a bottle of it.
Under the yoke?
Sure.
There we go. Sure, I kind of like that. I kind of like that as a part of this theory. I'm putting it in italics.
Interesting. So we've got your classic Jojen paste here, but that's like one. This cannot be the main thrust of the theory since it's such a well-established theory that people already know, and it's also, like I said, it's a theory in the same way that evolution is a theory. It's a theory in the same way that, like, O.J. Simpson did it is a theory.
It's very commonly accepted, yes.
Yes.
So I would definitely start poking and prodding in other directions. Because I think from here, it's going to be tough to get to some of the other parts of the theory.
Let's talk about Brendan Rivers.
Sure.
First of all, his name is basically Bran.
It sure
which
is.
Interesting. And I believe it's a Bracken who is his ancestor?
Barbara Bracken, I believe. Yes.
Yes.
Blackwood. Blackwood, I'm sorry.
Blackwood, that's right. The Bracken was the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, Blackwood was his mother. And, like, that might make him, like, related to the Green Seers of the First Men in that sort of way. So Targaryen on one side, maybe Green Seer on the other.
Oh, yeah.
Which explains a lot of things.
Have we talked about this explicitly? The Blackwood family is one of the few families in the South that worships the old gods because that family was uprooted by the kings of winter millennia ago, and their original seat in the north was right next to Winterfell.
Yeah.
And that shit is so pog, dude. That's amazing.
Yeah, they live in the Riverlands now, but they are of, like, northern heritage.
Yeah. But I don't think you're going to find too much fruit barking up that particular tree. That particular tree, by the way.
Should I talk about the reeds?
Sure. Let's talk about the reeds.
So Jojen and Mira come to visit Bran in an interesting scene. It's one of our first real Hodor gets a lot of screen time scenes that I remember. Bran is leading a feast. He is the Stark in Winterfell at the time. There's also currently no Stark in Winterfell, by the way, and all hell's breaking loose. So that might have been. There might actually be a reason for there to be Stark in Winterfell all the time.
Wait a minute, Zach. You're not privy to the theory that little Walder Frey is Rickon Stark?
Really? Is this something you're making up right now, or is this a theory?
Yeah, sometimes I just riff, based on what we've been saying.
I thought you were about to tell me there's no way in hell I'm believing that, but
yeah, Zach, it kind of works.
If you ignore everything, it definitely works.
Yeah. You especially have to ignore the parts where Little Walder, Big Walder, and Rickon were all playing together in the yard.
No, there has to be a swap at some point, right?
Yeah, you're right. That actually strengthens the theory.
Yeah, you said to assume that Roose and Ramsay Bolton paid no attention to who was and wasn't a Stark and Frey, when it's very important that they never get those confused.
Roose and Ramsay sounds like the name of a sitcom, and I'm on board with it.
Anytime I see somebody's name written out full name, middle initial, last name, and their middle name starts with an N, I assume that their full name is actually just an R&B group from the 90s. This happens in my field of work more than you'd think.
Can you give me an example, please?
I think it was Abby and Ruth that I got today.
Oh, I'm looking down my list of people I need to talk to today, and included on the list is Salt and Pepper. Interesting. Earth, Wind, and Fire. Zach.
I had an intentionally comedic D&D campaign I ran at one point. Where the players ran into a water elemental who was super bummed out because he had just got kicked out of his band. And they're we're gonna go help you get back into your band. And then they went to the place where his band was playing, and the band was Earth, Wind, and Fire. It was an earth elemental, a wind elemental, a fire elemental.
Zach, that's really, really fucking funny. That's really good. That is an inspired joke. Suddenly remember. Oh my god.
I
Oh,
never finished that campaign. They were on the search for an ancient race of people called the Forerunners, and it was going to turn out that the ancient race of people who were the Forerunners were actually the Toyota car, the Forerunner. And it was like a society of cars. And it was like one of the things like they would find these like massive sprawling series of roads and like this is how the Forerunners traveled.
Zach, didn't I play in that campaign? I think I'm remembering another NPC.
Maybe
Wasn't
I don't know.
there
Maybe you did.
wasn't there a combination like bard rogue? What the heck was the name of that character? Famous singer, blonde, wore shawls. Stevie Nicks.
I don't think so.
Stevie Nicks, yeah. Yeah, not to not to be confused with any other Stevie. This Stevie Seals. Steve Nicks. Nicks like the Stevie Nicks. Like the slang term for to steal something. Stevie Nicks.
Yeah.
And we were doing music jokes.
No, I was trying to think of all the other jokes I had in that campaign, but there was a lot of them.
Zach, have you watched the new Stranger Things yet? I'm sorry, we're going on a music tangent right now.
No, but I understand that people really like Kate Bush all of a sudden, and I just want to say I've liked Kate Bush for years now. Get on my fucking level.
Granted and accepted. Can I spoil the best scene in the new Stranger Things?
It's the one with the Kate Bush song, right?
Oh hell no! That is very good, but not the best scene. Also, this that Kate Bush song plays over like actually 10% of the screen time of the show. They really get their money's worth out of that song.
They spent a pretty penny on this one.
But they also spent a pretty penny on Metallica.
Oh, there's a Metallica song in this new Stranger Things?
And nobody talks about the Metallica in the second to spoilers for Stranger Things, by the way. In this, I think it's this.
People
it's
are gonna stop watching the video now. You're gonna look at the most replayed, and it's gonna like go negative.
So I believe it's the last episode. Eddie, a fan favorite character this season, the crazy drug dealing game master. He and Dustin have to distract a horde of alien bats. So he sets up his amp and plays Master of Puppets on the top of a trailer and attracts all the bats to him. It's the fucking sickest thing I've ever seen.
That's pretty awesome.
I fully do not care if you watch all of Stranger Things. It's really good and everyone should watch it, but everyone right now should go and watch that scene. It's one of the best scenes in media I've ever seen in my life. It's so good. As a matter of fact, at the end of this recording, I'm going to go watch it right now. Speaking of this recording, Zach.
Okay.
Would you like to talk about Game of Thrones?
I would love to talk about a Game of Thrones.
Okay.
So, let's see. I think you mentioned earlier as you were putting your notes together that there's a House of the Dragon quote.
There is a House of the Dragon quote. Why don't you give me 3? If you manage to spearfish it, awesome. If not, I'll give it to you at the end.
There's the which is when she's giving birth. That was what she said.
It was not the However, I might include the now that you mention it. That particular would be useful in another theory I'm working on.
Nice.
We get to talk about hybrids.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like the Prius. Yeah.
Oh yes, yes. When man mates with dragon, it gets great gas mileage.
This episode's sponsored by Toyota.
Toyota now with bad dragon TM gear shifts. I'd really like to thank the Toyota Corporation for sponsoring us. I happily give all of your products 3 out of 4 runner. Zach, not all the jokes need.
Sorry, that took a second to click. That is choice.
Not all the jokes need to land. It's okay. They don't all need to get there.
So it took a little bit to process, right? Not everything can be wasabi, right?
Cam really.
You're just saying like not everything can like be flavorful immediately.
Toyota Camry, more like Toyota Cam, really close to these nuts. Anyway, Zach, give me another House of the Dragon quote.
You ever wonder what the Mitsubishi Corporation was doing in the early 1940s?
Ah, yes, I liked it when Matt Smith delivered that line. I thought his line delivery was very good.
Yeah, I agree.
When he was subtly alluding to his prospective incest, he was like, I feel like Mitsubishis are both sporty and affordable.
I was more talking about how in the 1940s Mitsubishi may have been producing planes and they may have been used in service of war.
Oh, boy, wait till you hear about Volkswagen.
Volkswagen? Man, boy.
Oh boy. Ooh. But yeah, if you're looking through the history of Volkswagen vehicles, it's probably best to stop around 51.
So it's best to start around 51. You don't want to be around. You don't want to go backwards. Stop around 51 and don't look up the founder and CEO.
Like the Beetle came out in the 70s. They started making vans in the 60s, and then the 40s. Ooh. Oh no! Oh gosh! But the 20s were really nice. Zach, House of the Dragon quote. You got one more. I am counting the Mitsubishi quote.
It's my favorite quote from House of the Dragon.
Me too. It was very good. For $1, name a House of the Dragon quote. Fucking yoga bag. Name a woman.
She has a son.
She has a son. Who says she has a son?
Corlys Velaryon says that.
Oh yeah, she already has a male heir. Yeah. You're right. That's not what I'm looking for. Zach, please entertain the crowd while I write your House of the Dragon quote.
House of the Dragon is a show currently airing on HBO, a network with a real disparity of quality on it. Often, people refer to a bad dragon show as exemplary of the variety of quality that exists on HBO. But like they also, have a ton of animated programs, some of which are like pretty interesting and neat, most of which are very bad. And they also made Chernobyl, which was amazing.
Oh, Chernobyl's so good.
Yeah, it was legitimately phenomenal. I would love to see the team that made Chernobyl do like something else, which I think they might be. And They also made Westworld, which was good and then bad, and now is apparently good again. So quite the journey for Westworld there. I think that they had Aaron Paul join the cast recently, and that probably helped. We do love Aaron Paul.
We love Aaron Paul. We love when Aaron Paul gets on Twitter. We love when Aaron Paul tries to run for president.
Aaron Paul, a singular.
Yes. Yeah, we love when Aaron Paul makes an ass of Aaron Paul's self on stage. That's always funny. We like Aaron Paul around here. Quote, just as Daenerys foresaw the end of Valyria, Aegon foresaw the end of the world of men. And if the world of men is to survive, a Targaryen must be seated on the Iron Throne. That is from that very dramatic speech at the end of the first episode.
Interesting. Wait a second. But we watched the Bad Dragon show, and the Targaryen wasn't on the Iron Throne. And they still, like, in one cheaply put together episode where somebody forgot to turn the lights on, managed to save the world.
In the Bad Dragon show, at the time of the Long Night, Cersei Baratheon is
Cersei Greyjoy, because she married sort of kind of Euron.
Cersei Greyjoy sat the Iron Throne. It was a very good ding. Very good ding, Zach.
Now, this is interesting. So this could imply that Cersei herself was a Targaryen. Which makes suddenly, all of a sudden makes Dany's return another Dance of the Dragons. Did I get the main thrust of the theory somehow?
No, you did not. It just made me think about those theories that posit that all of Tywin's children are actually Targaryens.
Yeah, I think the Tyrion one is more popular, but I like it less than I like Jaime and Cersei being Targaryens.
Me too.
I do think, in all likelihood, none of them are, because they all take different qualities from their father. Their father being, Tywin Lannister. Although I do like that if Jaime is actually the son of the Mad King and Tyrion is the only legitimate son of Tywin, they both killed their own fathers then.
Yeah, they both yes. And that's certainly an interesting parallel, isn't it?
It's also because Cersei thinks of herself explicitly at one point as a Tywin Lannister with teats. She says, which would be very funny if she had no relation whatsoever to Tywin Lannister.
It would. So that is very funny, but that's a different theory we're not dealing with today.
Interesting. How the hell does this shit connect?
Oh, just wait till you hear some of the other stuff.
In a Dance with Dragons, Bran eats a bowl of red paste. This is Jojen paste.
Mm-hmm.
So, are there any dings I'm going to get if I talk about Mira Reed?
Actually, you were pretty close to a ding earlier. You were talking about the feast. Do you remember what? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sorry, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
So there's a feast. The Reeds show up. A bunch of the houses in the north are there. We get the first real details on the two young Freys, who are annoying as shit and constantly playing a game where you try and slip in a mayhaps every once in a while. Maester Luwin is there. Hodor is there. And just a bunch of other people who stay at Winterfell are there.
Objection. Objection.
What's that?
Young Phrase, spelled Phrase, is a good name for a rapper.
Young Phrase, yeah.
Zach, do you remember what happens after the feast? I think it's in the next chapter. They're
I
all
believe that's the.
they're
I
all in the
believe
God's Wood.
they have. That's when I think it's in the same chapter where Summer almost attacks the Reeds.
Absolutely.
And
Yep, that's it. Okay, you want to tell me about that scene while I'm typing?
it was basically they were trying to prove that like the Green Dreams were Bran controlling Summer and not just like a weird like dream he has where he's a dog. And they were trying to convince him like Green Dreams are real. They mean things. You can control animals, and if you have a vision where you see something, like you need to go seek it out. You need to take this Green Dream stuff seriously. You're not the only person around who has them.
In A Clash of Kings, Jojen Reed, while being chased by Summer and Shaggy Dog, is told by Mira to climb a tree for safety. It might just be Shaggy Dog. He declares, "There's no need. Today is not the day I die."
Hey, it's very similar to what, at least in the show. I don't remember if it's this way in the books. Oberyn Martell says today is not the day I die on the day that he died.
That's a ding, by the way, but I'm not done with this. Jojen then climbs the tree. And I've always found that interesting.
Me too.
Right? Isn't that neat? Jojen then climbs the tree.
And this is in the God's Woods, right?
Correct.
Ooh.
In the best meme that the Bad Dragon Show ever produced. Today is not the day I die. Oberyn Martell, the day he died. Oh, well, that doesn't really belong there, but it's staying there.
Just change your background color into black, and then no, that's the foreground color.
What are you talking? Wait, the back.
Right, yeah, right. Use the color. Use the color. Or like click on color 2.
Click on color 2.
Over on the top.
Color 2.
And then click on black.
Okay.
Click on black for color 2.
Click
on it twice. Click on another color.
I'm clicking on it so much you have no idea.
There you go.
Okay.
And now just take the select and move that quote where it could be better.
What if?
Just use the select tool.
What if I didn't?
The select tool, and then move it somewhere.
There we go.
That's definitely what we want, I guess.
Today is not the day I die. Oberyn Martell, the day he died, and that's just like one of the funniest things. That's one of the best memes that ever came out of that show.
Yes, I agree. And the top 3 episode for me, and that might be my favorite episode. I go back and forth. I also love Watchers on the Wall, which I sometimes just rewatch whole segments of that, and just like it really makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside. As well, the like ramp up to the Battle of the Blackwater, and then them realizing that it's wildfire in the water and it going off, truly takes me back.
Fucking Zach, video idea. Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon, single elimination scene tournament.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, you have the wildfire explosion at the Battle of the Blackwater.
Scenes they really like.
Yeah,
and then we can do a bracket of 64 of them.
Yeah. I think that sounds very great. Right, and then we have people vote. We do please, if that's something that you would participate in. Nah, you know what? Look me in the eye, viewer at home. I don't give a shit. I'll do it my damn self.
Also, we're letting people vote on it. We're the correct opinion on what the best scene is.
That's true. We are the arbiters. Maybe we drag Zeb back in and make Zeb watch all of the scenes individually.
It would be fun, yeah. I don't know, like a lot of in the context, man. Like the Oberyn fight is really good, but when you know everything that's riding on the line for it, it's so much better.
Yeah, him like full-throated screaming about Elia.
Yeah,
it's phenomenal.
So much stronger when you know all the characters involved.
Yeah. Also, Paddy Considine, and I do not know the name of the person who played Aemma Targaryen. The two of them might have beat out every single actor in all of Game of Thrones last week.
It was certainly a very good scene.
Hold on. Who plays Aemma Targaryen? That is a person called Queen. You really not going to tell me who played Aemma Arryn, please? How would you pronounce the name? How would you pronounce the name SIAN? Sierra India Alpha November.
SIAN.
Yeah.
It's a Sian.
Sheehan? Is that it?
Sian.
I bet that is Irish. Someone in the comments tell me how to pronounce that, but that person...
I believe that's Cian. I believe you're correct that it's Irish.
Cian Brooke. Cian Brooke played Aemma Arryn. Her and Paddy Considine were fucking amazing. And they beat out every scene that Peter Dinklage was ever in. And I'll fight anybody on it. Okay. So... are you starting to get a little bit of a picture here?
So it kind of implies that Jojen Reed knew when he was going to die, I guess.
It does.
Yeah, today is not the day I die. He might have been well aware he was marching to the north to be turned into paste, and he was cool with that.
And that is existentially terrifying. Yeah. One of the scariest characters in A Song of Ice and Fire because of that.
Yeah.
But this... Let me see if I can get this to line up nicely. This bottom bit down here at the bottom.
I see what you're going for, yeah.
I find that
tree.
That's
interesting because that's the tree is more than one thing here, right? But because they're in the God's Woods. The tree is not just a tree. It's like a router on the Weirwood network.
Ooh. That's not the way I'm going, but feel free to elaborate on that.
I mean, when Jojen gets turned into paste, maybe that's not the end of his consciousness, as we see with Varamir Sixskins in the beginning of A Dance with Dragons. His body is dead, but his mind lives on in a bird that he controls. And maybe it stays inside that bird for the rest of that bird's life, but maybe there's a way to get his consciousness elsewhere. Maybe Jojen Reed is alive in the trees somewhere. In the Weirwood network, his thought patterns are being stored.
Whoa. Pump the brakes. You've managed to taste the psychedelic Weirwood sap that is the additional tinfoil. Whoa.
Nice.
We'll come back to that. Let's set aside, just for the moment, that interpretation of this over here, this down here. For the moment, let's just take it at face value. The tree, in this case, is literally a place of safety from the dogs. Jojen Reed says, "Today is not the day I die. Why would I need to climb the tree?" He says, "Today is not the day I die." But then he climbs the tree. Why does he climb the tree, Zach?
Today's not the day I die. But then maybe he's just, being cautious. His local fantasy OSHA agent said the proper thing to do when being chased by a wolf is to climb a tree.
What need have
This
you
is
of
Mira that's
caution
doing
when you
it.
have future sight?
That's true. Unless he needed to climb that tree for another reason, right?
That's yeah. I think that while I was puttering around the internet, I think that the most common interpretation is that he was just trying to make his sister feel better.
True.
Because Mira doesn't believe in any of this shit. She's like, no, if you stay down there, you're gonna die. I don't care what you've been dreaming. Get up in this tree.
Mira herself is not a dream seer.
Correct.
I don't believe. Yeah.
All right.
So like she can't be as confident as Jojen can be.
Would you?
Is the theory that the red paste was just in the tree and Jojen's alive? Like he just went somewhere.
Hold that thought for just a moment. Hold that thought for just a second, okay?
Yeah.
Just a second. Okay? Hold on, I'm scrolling. Hold on. Relax, okay? Zach, do you remember the Dosh Colleen?
Dosh Colleen? No, I can't say I do.
The Dosh Colleen are that like society of former Khaleesi's who serve as like the witches to the Dothraki.
Yeah, and it makes a lot of sense that like there'd be a lot of Khaleesi's because they don't usually go off and fight in horrific battles where people like get maimed and killed. So like every time there's a new call, like they're gonna leave some widows just like all over the place.
Zach, I'm throwing some things out here. Please feel free to comment on them as you.
Does Colleen believes the stallion who mounts the world is Rhaego? Yeah, okay. They do believe that, but Rhaego comes out this like horrible, disgusting mess of a creature, and might also have like a dead soul inside of him from Merrymaster magic and all that. When the sun rises in the west and sets in the east, then will your womb quicken again.
This is Miri Mazdur to Daenerys. The implication is
I've always liked the theory that prophecy was actually literal and her womb will quicken again.
Well, see, Zach, that's the thing. That's one of the things, isn't it? That's one of the things. In A Dance with Dragons, Daenerys how do I phrase this? She has something that seems a lot like a period. She appears to menstruate.
Yeah.
We don't know. It's ambiguous, and it's also in the last fucking chapter while she's high on forest berries.
But her menstrual cycle's kicking in again.
Let's say Daenerys's reproductive cycle starts back up. And what about this? What's going on up here? This one.
Well, Rhaego is burned and then becomes the dragons. Well, you could argue becomes the dragons, but like he is burned in the sacrifice that leads to the birth of dragons, along with Khal Drogo and Mirri Maz Duur.
Look, there's a lot of interpretations we could have, but Rhaego sure as sugar is not the stallion who mapped the world.
That's true. Okay, so I guess you're right that both those prophecies are kind of bullshit.
Yeah. I have one more.
Oh, the theory here is that prophecy will bite your dick off.
It's actually you actually 360 no scope the prophecy about 10 minutes the theory about 10 minutes ago. That's wrong. Oberyn Martell, he was wrong. And this over here, he's wrong.
A wrong of ice and fire.
Gods, I was wrong, man.
Oh, it's too good. It's too good.
Zach, you much to my dismay, right before I got to the thrust, you were like, "So Jojen's fine." Zach, Jojen is both fine and wrong.
You're telling me that Jojen died that day?
No, I'm saying that Jojen, having predicted the day he died, he's just not wrong. Wait, no, he is wrong.
Okay.
Because Oberyn Martell, he predicted the inverse of Oberyn Martell, right? Oberyn Martell is like, today is not the day I die, and then he died. And
Yes.
Jojen Reed is like, today is the day I die, and he's just fine.
When did he say today is the day I die?
He didn't say today is the day I die, but it is heavily implied that he knows that he knows the date of his death. And it is also heavily implied that that date is coming very soon, the last time we see him.
But he was just wrong. He's in the cave somewhere.
Yeah, he's wrong and fine.
I like it. and like Marwyn says, prophecy will bite your dick off every time. And look at all these incorrect prophecies.
Yes, look at all these incorrect prophecies, Zach. I also have on this list Melisandre's prophecy about Arya. Do you remember this from A Dance with Dragons?
No.
In A Dance with Dragons, Melisandre foresees, she tells this to Jon Snow, I foresee a girl in gray on a dying horse racing to Castle Black. And she says to Jon, that is Arya. Arya is coming to Castle Black. It turns out that it's Alice Karstark. So she was just fucking wrong. She's just fucking wrong.
Yeah.
So when to bring it back into like,
that's not. See, when you said that prophecy again out loud, I'm like, oh, she's predicting pestilence coming towards the wall.
Wow. Yeah, that's what I mean. Prophecy, I am fully on Marwyn's side of this discussion. Prophecy bites your dick off all the time.
Yeah.
There is no reason to believe that Jojen is going to die just because Jojen thinks Jojen's going to die. People are wrong all the fucking time. Maybe his death could be a metaphor. Like the rising tide that Melisandre sees swallowing Old Town. It's not literally a tide, it's the Iron Men, we all suppose.
Yeah.
Maybe he has read it incorrectly, right? Maybe it's not, maybe like Alice Karstark, he foresees his death, but that doesn't mean he's going to die. That means that the things he cares about are going to leave him. Maybe that means Mira is going to die. Maybe that means that Bran is going to die. Maybe that means that Greywater Watch is going to burn down. Or maybe, like the Dosh Colleen, he's just fucking wrong.
That's entirely possible.
Maybe he's just fucking wrong, Zach. And I really liked the framing that you gave this at the beginning. That Jojen paste is basically canon. I am inclined to disagree with that directly. George Martin has lightly implied some cannibalism and implied heavily that Jojen knows the date of his death. But he has also implied that prophecy is bad. Prophecy bad and wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I assert that we think that it's canon not because of the books, but because of each other.
That's true. That's true. And also, like, is one of the more, like, I feel like the gap in between books has made some of the, like, better sourced, more, like, well thought out theories seem like they must necessarily be true.
Yeah.
Don't forget, there was a very good chunk of time, especially before the last few seasons of the Bad Dragon show, where most people probably would have said, yeah, Euron and Dario are the same person. And to be honest, I still think that. Even though there's a lot of things that have happened in the interim that make me question whether that's true or
not. And as my last point about prophecy, I was pushed to finish this theory because of the Aegon prophecy at the end of the first episode of House of the Dragon,
which we know is wrong.
We know that is just incorrect. Unless you really want to backwards long jump your way into Cersei Lannister is a Targaryen, there is not a Targaryen on the Iron Throne when the White Walkers are defeated.
Or maybe like it's a game of telephone, right? Aegon just he needed a big army and he needed dragons. Otherwise, he was never going to defeat the army of the others. But like that's a bit of a game of telephone to play in not that many generations.
Yeah. Well, that's the honka-chonkin' problem with prophecy, isn't it, Zach? Is that it's always flippin' fuzzy.
That's true.
Zach, Jojen's fine.
Jojen is fine.
And we are adding this to the interesting nerd club canon of things that are true about A Song of Ice and Fire.
Granted, Jojen is fine.
He's fine.
Jojen, who is fine, by the way. he's hanging out with Quentin Martell right now.
Yeah. It's the two of them, Arthur Dane, Robert Baratheon, and Khal Drogo. Oh, yeah. Who is a horse. All just hanging out drinking together.
When Arya goes to find what's west of Westeros, she's going to find a bar where all of them are just hanging out.
It's not a metaphor for the afterlife. It's just a bar.
Yeah.
And they say that in the book. They say this is not a metaphor for the afterlife. This is just a bar.
There's a footnote and everything.
Yeah, it's just some really, really shitty Irish bar like you'd see downtown. With the five of them just drinking in a corner.
Yeah.
Zach, so there it is. That's my theory.
That's a good theory. I like it a lot.
I like it too.
It started to come together, and then I was like, oh yeah. The Jojen's fine. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So Zach, I'm hyped for more House of the Dragon, and I've been hyped making some more theories. So unless you have something more, I'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time.
Say goodbye.
We got a whole nother House of the Dragon episode to chat about.
Oh, I'm gonna take 8 to 10 episodes of Hot D.
Yeah.
I don't even think I'll have trouble. Like that's like people question whether episode length is a problem, but like 65, 70 is totally fine.
I'll talk about Hot D for as long as we're able to.
Yeah. All right. Goodbye, Zach.
Goodbye.